Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Sarah Uncut, where I'm going to sound like your mother. We need to talk about who you're hanging out with because your conversations matter. And if you found yourself stagnant in your career or in your personal development, you need to start looking at who you're hanging out with. Let's get to it. Hey guys, if you've never seen me before, hi, my name is Sarah Walton. I am an intuitive business coach and a sales expert, and I love giving you all the tips and tricks that I can possibly find in all of the interwebs and world to help you have a successful business and to make the money that you really want to be making. That's my job. So hit that subscribe button so you can keep growing and learning. Sounds good to me. All right, so let's say you're going about your day and you've noticed you're kind of stuck. You're like, holy crap, I'm making the same amount of money I made last year, maybe a little less. I keep thinking I'm gonna progress and then I don't. Or I have these plans to grow and then nothing happens. Because here's the deal, what makes up your day-to-day life? If you stop and think about it, yeah, it's sort of the actions that you're doing, but the actions that you're doing are created by what? The conversations you're having in your head and the conversations you're having with the people around you. For example, I noticed that when I lived in Salt Lake City 345 years ago, no, I'm not really a vampire, but it was a long time ago, the conversation was always family. There was no conversation about, say, education. Those sorts of things weren't really the conversation was family. Cut two, I moved to LA, where I went to UCLA for college. I know, hooray, go Bruins. Okay, anyway, that's where I went to college, and you know what the conversation was in LA? Who do you know? Did you have work done? Did you hear about the latest diet? Oh my God, your clothes look amazing. But that was the conversation there. Why? Because that's the conversation everyone's having. Who do you know? What have you seen? How's your makeup? Right? That was that conversation. And now I live on the East Coast where the conversation is, where'd you go to school? How much money do you make? Really, we're that obnoxious. Who do you know? But usually it's around business or education, not so much around movies or celebrity. So it's so interesting, and I'm sure you can relate to that, or maybe you've had friends move away and you've noticed their conversations shift. Now, there's a thing we coachy coaches love to say, which is that what you focus on expands. If you actually take a second to listen to what that says, what you focus on expands. So suddenly in LA, I was on diets all the time. Whereas before in Salt Lake, I was worried about how much time I was spending with my family. And now I'm watching my kids. Oh my goodness, they're about to go into college because I'm 459 years old. I'm really not a vampire. Anyway, so watching them and the pressure for the SATs and all of the courses these kids get and all this stuff. I'm like, I didn't have any of that. Why? Because that wasn't a conversation for me. But what you focus on expands. And here, that's the conversation. So that's what they're doing. Watch your own behavior. So here's an example for you. When I say to you, you might want to look at who you're hanging out with. Okay? Because you might get really inspired. Say you watch one of my videos because you're hanging out with me, hooray, right? And we get all pumped up and we're super excited. We're getting more money in the hands of more women. Everybody's jazzed up. Let's get these tactics going. Let's get your head in the right space. You're like, yeah, baby. And you go out to dinner with your girlfriends, but the conversation shifts to, oh my God, did you hear about Susie? What happens to your ambition in that moment? It's gone. Why? Because what you focused on changed. And that's why your day-to-day conversations matter. So back to my original question, what is your day made up of? It's made up of a series of conversations. That's why I create these videos for you, because I hope by watching these, you start to interrupt conversations that maybe don't support you, conversations that aren't about what is your ambition, what would you love, what's going to make you rest your head tonight on the pillow and go, I nailed it today. What's going to do that for you? I want to have that conversation with you, and I hope it inspires you and gets you excited too. But it's just one conversation, right? Then there are all the other conversations you want to look at. So I want you to be really conscious and aware of where you're choosing to spend your time. Now, please hear me. This is very important. It is not up to us to tell anyone else what their conversations should be. Okay, the only way that we judge them, right, if we're going to judge them, is how we want to participate or not. That's our judgment call, but it's not a judgment call like that's bad and I'm good. Because anytime we start to pull away like we're better than, that doesn't help you and it doesn't help your friends. So here's what I'd recommend you do instead. See what you can inject into the conversation that brings you joy, and it might bring them joy. Maybe it's a great book that you just read, or what you did get inspired about today, or what you're hopeful for next month. You have your own conversations that you probably know a lot about that you can inject that will actually lift everyone who's listening up, right? Because it matters. As you get up and walk away from that table, if you've been watching me for a while, you know one of my favorite questions to ask is, how do you want people to feel when you leave the room? And if you can construct conversations with the people that you love with that in mind, you may very well start to construct something that's wonderful. And underneath all this, remember, really cool things come out of conversations about ideas, conversations about love and joy and creativity. What doesn't make us feel good usually is conversations about other people or conversations about our own failures, like we're being funny. You ever hear yourself do that? Like, yeah, I don't know what happens, man. It's like I sit down to eat a pie and like everything flies in my face. I don't even know, like, who does it? Like, don't talk about yourself that way either, right? We don't want to talk about people. We want to talk about ideas. So you don't necessarily have to ditch all your friends and run away and be like, I only hang out with business people. Please don't do that. Right? Like, keep your world nice, well-rounded, and lovely. But remember, for you, your life is made up of the day-to-day conversations that you have. So watch out what they are and care for them. All right, I hope this was super helpful. If you love what you heard today, I really want you to click that subscribe button because I create new content every single week. And I also have some live coaching calls. It's called Coffee with Coach. And I bring my video interviews from the Game On Girlfriend podcast to you on YouTube. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so I can keep you updated. Go make today amazing, and let's get more money in the hands of more women.